Hello Pisces, I am Ulrich. I'm a Lenormand card reader, and now we will do the card reading for the month of August 2021. On the table here you see 9 cards for this reading, and you can see also 4 objects here. Meaning we will do 4 card readings for each astrological sign, and this video here is for Pisces for the month of August. From the 4 objects, you see one here on the table. You choose or you pick one that relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice should or it will relate the best to your current situation. Of course, you can watch all 4 videos related to the Pisces sign, and after you watched all 4 videos, you can then decide what symbol or object is fitting it best to your personal card reading or situation. The matches here represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. So the first group we start with is the fire group. Hello Pisces, and welcome to the fire group, matches or fire group. So we will start this month's reading for August 2021. So as you can see here, the first card is the Sit. The Sit is new beginnings or new endings. The last card here is the Stork, and the Stork is the bird of transformation. It means things are changing, something new is initiating, there's a progress going on. So this is the end and this is the beginning, literally the beginning. So as we can see here, we go start from with the upper line. We have the Sit here, we have the Coffin and the Crossroads. So the Sit, it's begins something suddenly or it ends something suddenly. So, and I think it's both here. I think here, suddenly you will need to be placed in front of a decision because the central card is the Bear. So, because you need to make a sudden decision, you will need to take, it will take time to process this. But the problem is the decision will need to be taken immediately. But as we know, if the decisions are heavy and with the coffin they are, the processing of it can take a long time. So this process will bring you in another direction. You will be placed with this decision in front of choices. These choices that you will need to make, it's unavoidable. You will need to, they will be almost forced upon you. Why do I say this? I say this because of the second line. Here we see the messenger. The messenger brings a message. You get a message of here, of a manager, of a person in charge. And here you see his boss, the higher authority. This could be the top management, because actually this is top management, these 2 cards. So you will receive a news from the manager and from the top management that there is something going on there. There is a change going on, as we saw here. But I will put it later all in context. We just go line by line. Then here you see the house, you see the fish, and you see the stork. The house, it can represent your body, it can represent your workplace, it can represent the place where you come from, it can represent our colleagues. As you see here, the fish is next to it. So it means in your house, yourself, or on your body, or with your colleagues, there will be a multiplying. Something is multiplying. It's possible that you gain weight, but it's also possible that you are planning to do some changes in your house in the future, because the stork here is the bird of changes, and that is eventually where we are going on the long run. So there are some aspects here that will not work out this month, that are for the longer run. So then we continue. As I said here, we do the vertical now. This is the decision. Again, the news comes suddenly to you because the rider is sudden. So suddenly this news is exposed to you. It comes literally to your house. Maybe you receive an email, you receive something, and the news is suddenly there. You did not expect it. Here we see the coffin. The coffin is a psychological, a mental transformation. And here is your manager. So I'm thinking you yourself suddenly are confronted with a higher position, or your current boss is for some reason disappearing off the stage. So this position that is offered you, it implies more control because the bear controls. So the control will substantially grow because the bear grows. So you will get more control. You will come in a higher, a better, a management position. This position also involves an increase of money because we already saw here that the money is coming to your house. But here also the position comes with money. Then the third line, this is the decision. We already saw that we will need to make the decision suddenly, but it will take a longer process. Authorities will put us in front of a choice. And these choices will bring change. But there's a but. If we see it like this in the whole line on an L, then we can also see that the building itself, it transforms, meaning in the corporation or the organization where you work, they are also themselves placed in front of choices. So it's possible that the upper management is changing also. And there's a physical, because the fish are physical, there's a physical change of location. So it means the company is transforming physically and also mentally. There's a whole process going on in this business of change. Then we go on the cross. We see here sudden management transformation. So we get the same confirmation again. We always come in the same pattern. It's possible that you come in a higher position, or it's possible that that you imply more pressure on your colleagues. Because I want to, I think I already mentioned here, this also means if this is your job and these are your colleagues, you get more colleagues. There's a transformation of colleagues, or it could mean that because you change position, new people arrive because you go in the higher position. So this is possible also. Then here, the other cross, the crossroads, the management. So that's the management choice we are placed upon, that's placed in front of us. And it's literally in our place of work, the place where we and our colleagues are. What I want to add here also, or maybe I mentioned earlier, is that the authorities will not allow you very long time to decide, but they will immediately give you the conditions. They will say there's a substantial raise of money, but the choice will need to be made very fast. Also, here you can see that if you receive the message, they will not tolerate that it takes a long time. they will need to have the decision fast. Maybe for them also it's an unexpected change because this person go, or it's connected to the whole moving physically and mentally, and they will say, look, this is how it is. You need to choose. We will need to have your answer as soon as possible. What is also a possibility here is if you say yes to the position, this is your house will be expanding. So it means it's possible, because this is changing, that you literally change location. So maybe because of the location of the business change, you change also. And if you go along with them, because you earn more, you will have also a better house, because here the fish are expanding the house. So it means if you go yes with their whole project here, and you say, okay, I agree, the location where you are going will be better. Also, I want to add a detail here, because we have 2 times water. The stork is in the water and the fish are in the water. It's possible that you move to a location that is close to the water. Maybe it's close to the sea area. Maybe it's located to a water stream. Maybe it's located close to the sea area, because it's 2 times water here, because I wanted to mention this also. So we summarize for the fire group. Here, suddenly the news comes to your house of the changes in the job. This will bring a serious transformation. A better position for you is offered. And also, I didn't mention this before, but I'm thinking, I'm getting a feeling here that maybe temporary before you were in that position, because sometimes the stork returns. So I'm thinking with part of the job or the job itself, you're not totally unfamiliar with this whole management. I think you might have been there before. So here we have the changes and the change of money. And then here we have the relocation of the building, of the whole thing. So this is for the future. This is the moving. This is the money. So I'm thinking Pisces here for the fire group. It's a fairly heavily month to come for decisions, and also these decisions will come with long-term effects, because the tower is on the long run. So if you take this decision, it will be a decision on the long run. I think these people are serious with you, and you are serious with them, but it will come with a serious transformation, and you probably will need to adjust to the whole thing. So Pisces fire group, this is all for the month of July 2021. I hope you enjoyed my reading for this month. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, Pisces, and see you next time. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to the stone or the earth group. So as you can see here, the first card of the laying is the fishes. The fishes is multiplying, getting more of it. And the last card here we see is the lily. The lily can apply to the cause of life or career. That is what the lily is about. So here we go. So we have the fish here and the key. So this means an important decision will need to be made regarding money. Also, it means that if you need to decide something about money, and because I think here the house is in the middle, it's involved with your job, your job is involved, you will need to make a decision involved about money. Maybe you are offered more money, and if you ask about money, or even you don't ask, the money will be offered to you. Of course, we see the birds here, and it means related to the money or the job, there will be a lot of communication. And the birds is also stress. So it means, this could mean that there is money, but there's a lot of, like, the situation is a little bit hectic, but you don't need to worry about the money. The money is always there, so the money is not a problem. A lot of communication, cooperation with a lot of people, because the birds is more than two, because it's more than two, because the fishes is here. So there will be a lot of communication, a lot of people around. Maybe sometimes even the situation is noisy. It's like you open the door to noise, open the door to stress here. But the money is not a problem. The second row we have here is the stars. Then we have the house. And then we have the fox. The house can represent to our body, our home, the place where we come from, our colleagues, the people we work with, the team where we work with, the group where we work with. And this can represent the job also. So as we already saw here, this relates to your work. So if you have ambitions on your ambitions, because I think you have a lot of ambitions here to your workplace, these ambitions will come true, but you need to be a little bit careful here with the people, because there's a lot of communication also. Maybe there's a lot of gossip here, so you need to be careful. And I'm gonna say here, it's like you need to think about yourself, think for yourself. This is an opportunity for you, a chance that may come for you for advancing. But you will need to be careful with it, because maybe there can be some people who do some talking behind your back regarding this work. Then the last line we have here is we have the ring here, the book, and the lily. To be honest, I'm thinking here that your partner or your wife might be involved in your work situation, because here I see there is a sharing of knowledge. So you and your partner, married or not, or living together, you are sharing the same field of knowledge. And also you're sharing a lot of the ambitions together. So it's possible here that you improve together. What this also sometimes said, maybe the ambitions are not always spoken out towards each other, because the book keeps secrets. So maybe you don't tell each other that you're ambitious, but I'm sure, because this is a card of wisdom and life, the whole life, I'm sure you both are aware that you are very ambitious. What is also possible with this card is that not everything in the relationship or in the marriage is said. So in the relationship, there might be some secrecy. This card is related to spiritual, but it's also related to the sexual part. So it might be possible that there are, in the relationship, there are some secrets involved about sex. It's like there's, maybe you both learn about sex. Maybe the book of sex, it's like, is going open for you, because these two cards sometimes can relate to a sex study also. It's almost like, I would say, the Kama Sutra. Maybe it's a little bit far-fetched, but it can be. So it's like you both educate yourself in on the sexual field. If it's not on the sexual field, then maybe it's related to the spiritual field. It's possible also that you study something religious or something that has spiritual value to the both of you. Then we come to this is the now, and this is the future. So here we see the fish, the stars, and the ring. So the fish is, again, we see the same as here. If you have ambitious towards money, you literally get money offered. What you think about is coming. The answer is yes. There is also on this money, there's a kind of contract. There's a contract like you feel that the contract is right. There is nothing negative about it, but just see that you don't get illusions, because sometimes the stars bring a little bit of illusions. So see, you keep your feet on the ground here, especially related to money. I'm not saying this in a negative way, but see that you see that everything flows in the right channels. Then the second row here, we have the key, the house, and the book. Maybe there's a progress in your workplace, because this is literally the key of the house. So it's possible that you're involved, maybe all of it is involved in real estate. It's possible. If it's not involved in real estate, it's involved with things that have to do with money, because this is literally the key of the house. So this key unlocks the house. And here the book, it can represent a deed. So this is then the deed of the house, and this is the contract on the deed. You see, this can be your agreement with the bank, and this can be the deed. So you see, it's all connected. What is possible also, if you come in a better position on your work, there's in most works, there's a contract involved. So this is the contract on your work or the contract on your house. It can be both. Since there is an improvement in the money, maybe you're thinking about getting another house. There is more than one. Maybe there are several houses involved for you. Maybe you have more than one house, and you actually, I cannot say it any different. It's like you actually own them. You own the houses because the deed is here. And as we saw here before, the fish are here, and that is multiple houses. So it's possible that you have several houses. And as we saw here, also the book keeps secrets. It's possible that if you have more than one house, that you don't share this with other people, because maybe you're scared about they start talking behind your back. So I'm thinking here you have several properties, and you don't share actually with everybody what you have. You feel that you and your partner, it's better you don't talk to it about anybody, that you don't talk about your progress, that you don't talk about that you're advancing so much. So you just keep it as it is. You keep it quiet. If the colleagues ask you about your house, you say, oh, everything is fine, and you don't go into the details from if you have a second or even a third house. So you don't go into the details because you don't want the gossip. This is the agreement on the several houses. And as I said, if it's about a real estate business, this is very prosperous for real estate business or for money. Then in the last line here, we see the birds, the fox, and the lily. As I said, this job can bring stress, a lot of communication, but it's if you communicate in your job that the people feel that you actually have a substantial knowledge, a knowledge that is based on experience on the long run. Maybe this kind of job, it comes out of a family line. Maybe your family was involved in that kind of business, and it's like the knowledge of the business is literally transferred upon you. It's like if your father is a very skilled salesman, mostly the skills in a lot of cases go on the children. So I'm thinking it's something like that. It's like they really feel, the customers, if they are there, that they feel the knowledge is there. Because here also, these two cards, this is actually academic knowledge. So it's also possible that you met your partner, or the partner is with you on an academic level. So this knowledge that you have, it's not something, it's something evolved. It's a university knowledge, it's a higher knowledge that you have. And this is very positive towards to your customer. What is possible also here is that besides the business, you have, or one of you have an academic position. Like you share the knowledge, because I have the book here and the house, that you share the academic knowledge with other people. That is possible also. So if you have the knowledge, it's possible that you share this knowledge with a group of people. You educate others about the knowledge that you have, or the knowledge that you possess. What is also here is that the relationship between you and your partner might be very open. Not for the outside, but actually you have very open communications. It might be also, as we saw here, not everything is revealed, but the relationship in itself, it's open. So for the outside world, your relationship might seem very traditional. I would almost say like the couple is boring, but actually you're a very open couple, because the star is open. It opens the sky. So, and it seems traditional, but actually it's very open. So you both have a very high tolerance. So you are very tolerant, you are very understanding towards each other, but others may seem that you are very traditional, but actually it's not the case. It just seems that way. I mentioned earlier the real estate, and I'm thinking if you do business together, or you have business, you are very smart for doing the business, and also you will take low risk investment. You are not the type of business that will take high risks. You are on the business front, you might say you're quite conservative for keeping your business on the progress. It's not that you're gonna make wild investments for the future. I wanted to mention here a detail on the third line also. If you speak to your customer, these two cards, the customer actually listens to you. It's like, this is like a person that his voice is liked. So if you communicate to the person, they actually listen to you. Sometimes this can be a deep voice, like the voice of James Earl Jones in The Lion King. So it's possible that the voice is very deep, and the people actually are enchanted by the voice. They listen to the voice. This also points to a very hardworking person. This person is always busy mentally. This is a very active person. This person is very active in his job, in his duties. This is what I see here also in the third line. The lily here also points in some way to creativity. So there's also a creativity on the work. There's a creative element to it. So maybe you feel very creative in your work. And what is possible also, if you have a bigger house, that an older relative, or maybe the person who established the business before, he's actually living in a part of your house. It doesn't necessarily be directly connected with open doors to your house, but it's like that the person is residing there. So like you can take care if the person needs some help, or somebody helps him if he needs care. I think the older person, an older person here is connected to your home. If the house is big, it can be a separate part of the house that he's separate with separate doors, with locks, but the person is actually on the same property. That's my point. Sometimes also maybe from some competitors, you might feel some jealousy. It's like they don't understand where you get the next deal or the next contract. This is the contract. But for you, you work hard and they think it's just come automatically. But actually you work hard, but also there's an element of intuitivity, that you actually cannot explain to somebody. It's like you know to go at the right time, at the right place, and you're just passing there and the contract is coming upon you. It's difficult to explain, and it's like something you have. It's like a gut feeling. It's like a police officer who knows how the mind works. It's like you know how to make, where to go, how to make the contract. It's like you feel it. It's like intuitively knowing where to go, where to be at the right time, at the right place, at the right moment. Regarding more to the house, after you done a lot of business, I see here also there's after all this hectic situation and these business contracts, there's a very strong longing for privacy, for coming home in quiet. So I think after the business, you're very keen on your privacy. You want rest, you want tranquility. You prefer, and also I think you keep your business very separated from your private home. You want to relax there in your home. You don't want to be involved anymore in the business. It's also possible that, but this is a side, like the house is very strongly protected. Maybe there is a fence around the house, like a fence, an alarm system, that we really want to keep ourselves separate after business hours. There's a need here for silence, for quiet, for rest, for spiritual recovery, that the mind to recover. That's what I'm seeing here. So Pisces, for the stone group or the earth group, we summarize here, contracts and business are very prosperous. There's a lot of possibilities here. Maybe the business here is home-based, several properties, lot of possibilities here for the home, also several houses, more money. And then here, in the last, there's a lot of communication. Not everything is said, everything is based on wisdom. There's a lot of knowledge going on in the whole front, and the knowledge might be based on generations before us. So Pisces, for the stone group for the month of August 2021, that's all. I hope you're happy with my reading. If you enjoyed my reading, please subscribe, and thank you for doing so, and See you maybe next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to the Air Group. We start with the reading here in the left corner. So that's the lily. The lily can be interpreted as a sexual card, but it can also represent morals, the cause of life, things that happen in our life that have a serious impact of us or that represent our values, our traditions. The last card here we see is the dog. So that's the end of the laying. That's how it's going to end. The dog is a little bit submissive. He follows. It can also represent colleagues, friends, people who are close to us, the collective, the group that we are functioning in, brothers or sister, peers, people that are close to us. So we start the laying here in the upper. We have the lily and the coffin. The coffin is a more heavier card. This means there's a serious transformation going on psychologically or a physical transformation going on. This can mean that our values, our morals are really shaking up. Something that is important to us or was important to us need to be drastically changed. Something is transforming. It's possible that an authority figure or somebody who was close to us has an impact on this transformation that is going on. And because this person, the changes with this person, it creates, you need to be on your own. It's like you need space, you need distance, you need to be on your own, you need to think about what has happened. So this process, it's not a fast process because this is a slow process. If this ends now by the end of the month, because this is the reading for August 2021, possibly this is not ended by the end of the month. This is a longer process because this is the cause of life. This is the morals we get, how we are raised, the people who are responsible for our raising. So I'm thinking this is a longer process. So for putting this whole situation at his place, it will take some time. If you are at the end of this process already, you will understand what I'm talking about. Then the next line here is that this is the place where we come from. It represents our body. It represents our work. It represents our immediate environment. It represents our colleagues, the people where we work with, the people who are close to us. And as you can see here, it follows the other card. Also here, there's a transformation. So it's all a little bit connected. Also, there are transformations in our house, on our workplace, the place that we are used to. Maybe things that we are familiar with for a very long time, we are forced to change this. We cannot stay as we are. We need to change them. There is no choice. The stork is also a slower bird because the stork is migrating. He's going to he travels from Europe to Africa for the winter time because he always stays in warm places. So it means this process of transformation, it will take a while. If it's already going on for a while and you're already in this process, then eventually this will lead to more stability. Maybe these transformations that you have are not something that you actually are very happy about or that you want to experience, but it's like there is no choice. We are put in front of it. It is where we are now. We need to endure it. And after this period of transformation, of value change, of people change is transformed, we will go and become stable again. That is what, because the anchor is stability. With this card combination also, it can just add this additionally. It's also possible that we live close to the water. It can be a lake, it can be the sea. That this can mean that we live, because these two the birds is living in, you see the stork is a water bird, and here the anchor is also in the water. So it's possible that you live close to the water. If it's related to your business, if you have your own business, it's possible that you have a business related to water or things that relate to the water, things mobile on the water, mobile like a boat or something. That is all possibilities. If not so, if it's not related to your business, it can mean that you live closer to the water. But the eventual outcome after all this transformation will lead to more stability and structure, because the tower is structure. So this means that you will get a real good grip here after the transformation. Because the anchor gives grip, it anchors us. Then the last line here, we have the man, the book, and the dog. I would say here, this person, if it represents a man, but if you're a woman, you can also see yourself in it, because actually this is a neutral card. But so we will see it as a man and a woman. So because the laying applies on both sexes, I would say this person here is well educated, because as you can see, the book is next to him. I would say there's academical knowledge. If there is no academical knowledge, I would say this person has a lot of experience in the job. He's experienced, he's skilled, he has a degree. If he has academic knowledge, that academic knowledge is very traditional. Also, he's skilled, he has traditional skills, because the dog is traditional. He belongs to the house, and the dog is used to the house. So these are traditional skills. If this is knowledge on a university level, I would say this is knowledge that is traditional. It's not some domain that is very far in the future. It's something that is really substantial, because also the anchor is here. So this person, I would say, is well educated. Maybe he need to follow the protocol, because the tower and the anchor and the dog. So this is like the borders and the anchor. So the borders are fixed, and the dog is respecting the borders of where he is. This is what it's saying. So this person will need to respect the borders where he is after this transformation is past. Then we come on the vertical line here. You see here the lily, the house, and the man. So here, these are the values of the person. It's above him. He's here, but it's above him. So we saw already that he's very, or she is very traditional. So, and here these are the values. So this person is very strongly connected to familial values, familial traditions. So this person is like very fixed. So that's why he's having a very hard time with these changes. This person don't like changes, or this personality here, the person that is involved, this person don't like. He like to stay things as they are, stay put. Then in the second row here, we see the coffin, the bird, and the book. So as we saw already, there's a psychological transformation that going on that will take quite a while, because the coffin is slow, and the birds also, the stork also. And maybe here he need to review the things that he learned. The things that he was educated, the way he was raised, it's possible that he need to change some of these points of view. And it might be very difficult to change that. So this process, as I said, it's not going to be fast. But the changes will come unavoidably. So then we come here in the last line. We have the tower, the anchor, and the dog, as we already saw here, this is for the future. So if all these transformations are changed, this will lead to more stability of this person, and he will fall more in a form of tradition again. Here also, I want to mention this also, it's possible that the knowledge that he has is traditional and he need to upgrade the knowledge, because maybe some things, they are changed in time. And because of this whole process of change, he need to upgrade the knowledge. But it stays in the same field of work. But it's possible there need to come an upgrade. This person need to study up for catching up with things that are changed. Here again on the cross, we can see here that these are the changes, these are the values, and the values, if you go along with it, if you're a little bit, if you can at least, these are smooth changes. Here also it's smooth. These changes are smooth. It's not something like with hiccups. It's all in the process. It's slow and it's all going. What also can mean is, because maybe we come in a different position or in a different situation, our friends are changing, our circle of friends are changing, because this is the stork and this is the dog, and these are our friends, our peers. It might be possible that that we have a group of friends that is changing. This is something, if you come out a very big transformation, this is not something that happens 1, 2, 3. So it takes a build-up time to build this up, these new friendships. So this is also what I see here, a change of friends, a transformation of friends here that is going on here. As we can see here, we have the other cross, the tower, the stork, and the man. So it means that this man is changing, that we saw already. But it's not that he's always only changing, also there's an authority change for him. Maybe he will be the one who come, or she will become the one, because it's a neutral card, that gets or becomes more authority, because the tower here is the authority and this is the person. So the person changes after the transformation and he comes in a position of more authority and stability. So again, here with the cross, we get the same confirmation as we saw before. After you accepted this more responsibility of it's more authority, but I think it's already playing in your head. It's also possible, because the tower is borders, that you cross borders and you are thinking or planning for getting more stable in another place, because as we saw, the bird is migrating. So maybe it's possible, if in the long run, it can be an initiation, now it's starting, that on the long run, you're thinking about crossing physical borders, or you're actually thinking about migrating. But I would not say that this place is unfamiliar with you, because all the cards here are traditional cards. That means if you are planning, or if it's in your head for a move, for crossing the borders, it will be a place that you are familiar with. Maybe the whole family is familiar with the place, and you are just you are raised in that place, or partly raised, you're partly familiar with it, and it's possibly that you make that move, but it's not totally new, because there's a lot of stable and recognizable factors here. The dog is what we know. We know where we are. It belongs to the house. The anchor is stable, it stays as it is, and the towers is crossing the border. So as you can see, the change is possible, but it's not like a transformation that you go to a place where you've never been. that is what I wanted to add here also. So if the transformation and you're thinking about in the future going somewhere, it will be to a traditional location, a location that you are familiar with. So we summarize. So this person, this is a traditional person. He has values, how he was raised. He respects these borders of the house. He respects these values, or she. And this person likes to change as it is. But as we saw in the next line already, some transformation is coming here, some change of authority. Some people maybe are moving away from the stage of life. And then the next step is that everything becomes stable and traditionally again, as it was before. But it's possible, there's a factor possible here, that this whole thing plays out in somewhere that is across the border. Here in the front also, if there are changes in a person's life, I want to mention this also, if there's psychological changes in a person's mind, sometimes also it can put our sex life a little bit on hold. So that is possible also. There is a temporary hold here on the sex life. But after this is past, everything will go back to the traditional way it was before. Everything will fall back in a stable place. So, Pisces, air group. That's all for the month of August 2021. I hope you enjoyed my card reading. If you did, please subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to the Shell or the Water group for this month's reading for August 2021. So the first card we see here is the birds. The birds is about communication, gossip, insights, living together with partners under one roof. Here the last card is, this is the card of management, the manager, the boss, the one in control, the teacher, the one who's in charge. That's about the bear. Sometimes also it can represent the mother figure, in some cases the mother, the one who raised us. So we start with the upper line. We have the birds here and the cross, and it can mean that our communication for now, it's more limited. The communication is more limited. There are limits to our communication, and we have a difficult time to communicate. Sometimes, in some cases, it can also mean that there is gossip. We don't allow gossip in our environment. For instance, from colleagues, we don't tolerate any gossip. We are very strict related to gossip. It can also mean that our communication is very structural, very strict. There's a certain pattern that we are following or we want to follow. This combination, it can also mean meditation, that we meditate over something, or that we pray. If you're religious, maybe you pray. Maybe you pray for some changes to come. But the coffin is a slow card. So this is a slow card also. So this is the prayer. And as I tell you, the coffin is slow. You already know what I'm going to say. So it means that the transformation is a slow process. But here we see the child. So it means in the future, there will come a new beginning. But we will come in that later. So this is the praying. Then we see there that we have, it can also mean here sometimes that if we have a certain kind of religion, that there is a transformation in the religion, or we see some things related to our meditation or our religion. It's like it's transforming. There's a transformation going on in the religion. We see things in a different way in the future. It's like a slow press going on, but it doesn't mean we stop praying, but maybe we see the religion in a different concept. We get another psychological view on it. That's what it means. Then the second line here, we see the woman. As I said to you, the woman is a neutral card. It can represent a man also if you're a man. So we can do both sexes here. So this means that this person is offered solution. They are offered possibilities for the future. It means that they can be open for new initiatives. Meaning if there's a new project they want to engage in, it's possible because the key will open the door to new opportunities. This is what it says also. Maybe in some areas of your life, you're innocent. That is what it means also. And sometimes the key want to open, if we are already older, the key want to open new doors. Like maybe we want to experience something that we are not familiar with. We are naive about it, but if we want to, we are the key offered. If we are thinking about experiencing something new, opening something new, some things we are not familiar with, we can engage in that. It's also possible that we finally come to new understandings. We finally see how it's connected. Maybe the connection was quite simple and we didn't saw it before. But now the connection, because of the keys here, becomes more clear. Then in the third line here, we see the dog, the tree, and the bear. The dog is traditional. So later I will make the connection, but here I would say if this applies on a person, this person is very more a traditional person. Then the tree is strongly rooted. So it means this person, his rules are very very hard embedded. Also there's a strong management here of the female. So it's like if this relates to the person, this is a person that is very strongly related to self-management. It's hard to go into new paths. It really takes efforts and psychological transformation, and it takes a long time before this person or this situation can open up to something new. Then we go on the cross. So as I said here, the communication will open up, but we will not tolerate the gossip. So there is new forms of possibilities and new ways of communicating that you can imply, but it might imply some restrictions, or there's some silence involved. And also, it's like we try to manage the communication, because this is the management, and the keys opens the management. So it's like we try to manage the whole communication, but it might be difficult because the coffin is here. Maybe we are rooted in traditionality, and it's hard for us to change this communication with us. Then we have the other cross here. We have the coffin, the key, and the dog. So the key has the possibility to open the coffin. So it means here if we have a difficult time at the moment, we have possibilities to change, but here the changes, maybe the changes stay familiar. Maybe it stays as it is, even if there is a transformation, it transforms back to what we know. So it's like a process is going on, but and there is a possibility of change, but the changes stay familiar. It's not there are going to be extreme changes in the personality. Everything stays a little bit as it is. There is not really a very big change. So everything stays a little bit familiar for now. Excuse me. So the third line here is also that this can mean like a person that is involved in helping profession, maybe traditional female professions, a person that wants to help others in their profession. But in the other way also, there is self-management in the profession. This person need to manage themselves. Maybe there is time management here in the job. In the way for the lovers, this can also mean that in some cases that the man or the woman, we leave that in the middle, if you're a man or a woman, sometimes also this can mean that we want to hurt our lover or the loved one deliberately. That is what it means also. We want to mean it good, but actually we hurt the loved one, and we are aware of it also. That's what it means also. This combination also, it means that you maybe that you can gain weight because the tree is roots and the bear is expanding. So it's possible that you gain weight in the future or in the time to come. Sometimes this also points to a person that has natural leading capacities. Of course, the question is if the others want to follow, but this is also the combination, like you say, for an alpha woman or an alpha man. It's like a natural way of thinking that we are the one in charge. But as I said, the question is if the other will follow. Related to the coronavirus, I also want to point out, because the tree is health and the bear is protective. It's a little bit related now. I wanted to mention it. It also relates to the vaccination. So this is a vaccination. So maybe people of the water group get the vaccinations now related to corona, because it means actually the vaccination that is going on these days. Coming back to the second vertical line here, I want to add here that these are responsibilities that we are confronted with. But this combination of the key and the cross, it's like it's karma. It's meant to be. It's like a karmatic experience that we have, and we need to solve. And the tree here then means there is light at the end of the tunnel. The cross is slow, the key brings the solution, and the tree says there is light at the end of the tunnel. So eventually, if there is a difficult situation going on here, where you are praying for, what you want to change, eventually this will lead to a positive evolving. But the whole process, since the cards are here slow, and this is a slow card also, so it can be a slow process that takes some time here for all getting that in the right position to move on. So Pisces water group, we summarize. So for this month, your communication can be quite traditional. Things stay as they are. There's not too much change. There can be a lot of communication here, though, with the colleagues, the peers on the work front. Here, if we are in a difficult period for now, it's meant to be, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. There's going to be changes. But the tree is a slow card and the cross is also a slow card, so it's not necessarily for this month. And then here, the last line is maybe we need to open up for new possibilities, new ways of thinking. Maybe we want to experience new paths in our lives that we didn't experience before. But maybe if we do so, it will be hard to adjust to those changes. But if we want to imply them, we can. So this is the card reading for this month's water group for the sign of Pisces. So Pisces, I hope you enjoyed my card reading. If you do, please subscribe and thank you for doing so. And see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye now.